Good morning. Greetings from South Georgia, USA. The 27th of May, 2024. We are out here hitting golf balls again. And once again, I am trying to relate the golf game to some kind of spiritual lesson. When I first started golf, when I was about 50 years old, which would be 23 years ago, I realized or thought, this is maybe a waste of time. But if I could relate it to some spiritual matters, I'll keep playing it. And I am able to relate it to some spiritual matters occasionally. And today I'm going to try again. Now, I am first going to tell you there is no perfection in the golf swing, neither is there any perfection in the flesh. The flesh is not good. It is just an animal flesh. God only is good. According to the words of Jesus Christ, there is none good but God. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to show you what I'm working on today, and then I'll try to relate it to a spiritual lesson. All right. Bobby Clampet, if you know who he is, he was a great golfer and was more or less as they call it, a flash in the pan. He was a genius at one point, as when he was very young. He wrote a book about how to play golf. Bobby Clampet said in his book that you needed to absolutely make a divot in front of the golf ball, which is another way of saying that you need to hit down on the golf ball. The golf club is made in such a manner that even when you hit down on it, it will go up. He suggested looking in front of the ball. See where the toe of my club is? And not looking at the ball. I tried it back when I read his book, probably 10 or 15 years ago, and I really couldn't get what he was talking about. But here lately, I have started thinking more about it, and I'm trying it. So basically, let me try to explain what's going on. This is the middle of your stance right here. This is the way I'm doing it. The golf ball is here. Now and so my arc swing is going to be right there, right at the ball, because it's in the middle of my stance. That's where the circle is. Now, if I step forward, my swing arc now is in front of the ball, see? If I step back, it's at the ball. If I step back this way, it's going to be behind the ball, okay? So I start here. I step forward. This will vary on your shot. Now my swing arc, the bottom of my arc is going to come in front of the ball. But we have a tendency to still hit at the ball. So I'm going to look just in front of the ball, like he said. And I tried this a while ago, and it actually works. I'm not going to look at the ball. I'm looking at the ground right there. I think I hit behind it. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to be easy because it is something that we're not used to. Let's try it again. There's the middle of my arc. Stepping forward a little. Looking in front of the ball. It still didn't work. I hit it okay, but it wasn't anything to write home about, as they say. Now I'm going to try it one more time. Now I know my swing arc's going to be in front of it. I'm going to try looking in front of it again. Now that was a perfect shot right there. Now being as there's the bottom of my swing arc, my feet are together. So I step forward a little bit, looking in front of the ball again. I have no idea where my divot was because I couldn't see it, whether it's in front or behind. Let me make something where I can find out where it is. So that leaf is where the ball is. This leaf right here. Went the wrong way, this way. Trying to hit in front of the ball. I mean, trying to watch in front of the ball. And my divot is here, and the leaf is here. So that was, okay. That is the Bobby Clampet method of hitting down on the ball. To actually, now you could try to manipulate your swing arc, but you don't need to, because if you step forward, see, watch this, your swing arc goes forward with you. Watch. Swing arc goes backwards when you step that way. That's why you carry the short irons, you place it back in your stance a little more so that it will. Now, let me try to relate this to a spiritual message. I try something different. I'm liable to try a different golf swing every day in an effort to try to achieve perfection. There is no perfection in the flesh. Bobby Clampet was on top of the world, went down. Ernie Els was there one time. Phil Mickelson was there. David Duval was there. David Duval was there. When they were at their height, they still were not perfect. They didn't get a hole-in-one every time. They were very talented athletes. But no matter what you do in the flesh, you never will receive perfection or acquire perfection in the flesh, because man is not good, or another word for good is perfect. Even if a man made a hole-in-one every time, he still would not be perfect, because unless the ball fell in the hole without touching the sides and right exactly in the middle every time, he would not be perfect. There is no perfection in the flesh. Now, our effort, we think that in order to please God, this is the false teaching of most religions, and that is that God is pleased with us because we try to perfect ourselves in regard to sin. Let's just say that we quit drinking. Let's say that we are an alcoholic and we're just getting drunk all the time and we're getting a horrible headache and we finally quit throwing up. Is it because we're good that we quit drinking? No, that's what I'm saying, because we're not good. The reason that a man quits drinking is because he gets drunk and he gets a headache and he throws up and he spends all his money, his wife leaves him, he gets in an automobile wreck, he kills somebody, he goes to prison. That's why a man quits drinking, not because he's good. He learns. It's the same thing if you put a bit in a horse's mouth. A horse turns because the bit hurts his mouth. And as he learns, it's not because the horse is good. He learns, he's flesh, that hurts his mouth. So he starts then to go, you just have to tug less and less. And then a well-trained horse or broken horse, just barely touching the reins, he goes ahead and moves his head because he doesn't want to get hurt. That is fleshly learning. It's not anything to do with good. The flesh doesn't want to be punished. So the drunk is punished by the alcohol and he learns to quit. The womanizer, the man that is a womanizer, he may learn to quit because the husband found out and beat him within an inch of his life. And then he gets to thinking, well, I don't want that to happen again. I better be sticking around the house more. Or he gets shot. Or a man that fights all the time. I've known some guys that were brawlers. In fact, I knew one guy that was a famous brawler around here. And I asked him one time, have you, and he was a good one, have you been in any fights lately? And he said no. And he was a good bit older. He was probably 20 years older than when he used to be famous for fighting. And I said, why not? He said, I got tired of getting whipped. All right, that's the flesh learning. The flesh is not good. Okay, therefore, we can't do anything good. So if we think we can please God because we quit drinking, that does not please God, because that's just us quitting because we got tired of throwing up in a jail cell. So, Jesus Christ came to give us goodness in Him. It's called being born again. He said, you must be born again to enter the kingdom of heaven. Okay, that means He puts His heart in us. Jesus puts His heart in our heart, and we become spiritually born again. It's called being born again or being a new man. Now you have two men. You have the spirit man over here. See him? This is your spirit man right here. He has the heart of Christ. But now you have your old man. He still has the heart of man. He may have learned not to drink. He may have learned not to chase women. He may have learned not to do drugs. They're two separate people. This man will never achieve perfection. He may learn to do some stuff or not do some stuff, but he's not good. He just learns it because he got tired of getting beat up. Don't make the mistake of thinking because you learned how to not get beat up anymore that you're pleasing God. That's in everybody. Some people don't learn, they get shot and killed. Some people do and they quit taking drugs and they live. The born again man is what goes on to the kingdom of heaven. The flesh drops off and dies. The golf swing, no matter how much we try to perfect it, we will not perfect the golf swing. We can still have fun with it. I enjoy trying new things and trying to show different ways to hit the golf ball. This is my today's effort. Okay, I'm going to hit it again. This is today's effort. I'm going to describe where my swing arc is going to be, and it's going to be right in the middle of my body because that's how my body's built. I'm going to step forward just a little. Now my swing arc is a little bit more there. And now I'm going to try to hit the ball. And that was a pretty shot. Okay, I'll do one more. Now I was looking at the ball, in front of the ball that time. I was looking in front of it like Bobby Clampet suggested. Now this time, since my swing arc is changing, you see there? My swing arc is changing, not the ball. I'm not placing the ball anywhere. I'm placing my swing arc. That was the wrong way. This is the way, okay? Now my swing arc is in front of the ball. Now if I do not try to manipulate my swing arc or hit the ball or try to change it, then the swing arc is going to be in front of it. So I'm not going to look in front of the ball. I'm just going to try to do my swing arc. It's naturally going to come right here. Okay? and it was a beautiful shot. I did not look in front of the ball. I just tried to do my swing naturally. Now I'm going to see, we're going to put the ball right there, that little piece of stuff. I'm going to see if, swing a little deeper and see if my divot is in front, okay? Now my swing arc is in front of the ball, okay? That's the best shot that I've made. There's where the ball was. There's where the divot is. So I was here, and I went here. Now my swing arc is right there. Watch this. Now I step back this way. Now my swing arc's back here. Step back to the middle. Step back to the middle. My swing arc is right in the middle. All right, that is a little discussion on the Bobby Clampet method. And on the, so you must be born again. Jesus said you must be born again. Forget trying to perfect the flesh. Okay, if you sin enough, you're going to keep sinning even when you're born again. But you may learn. Now, if you sin, and the biggest sinning organ of the body is the tongue. Read it. Read it in the Bible. You may quit drinking. You may quit doing drugs. You may quit womanizing. You may quit pornography. And you should. You better. You should learn. But you're never going to quit saying things wrong. The tongue is a fire. When I do say things, this is my big sinner. And for a guy that tries to teach people, I can get in trouble with my tongue all the time. And I'm a smart aleck too. You know what a smart aleck is? Well, that's what I am. I've always been that way. I was like that in school. I didn't get in trouble for it much in school because I could do it in a humorous way, and even the teachers would put up with my smart aleckness. But that's my tongue sinning. Jesus said, let your speech be yes and no. Any more than that comes from the evil one. Guess what? You can't do it. Not in the flesh, you can't do it. But if your spirit man is talking, then you can do it. But you're not going to stay in the spirit all the time. You're going to make a smart aleck remark about your buddy over here, his new haircut, or somebody you hadn't seen. You're going to try to be a smart aleck like me. But we learn, if you say something too smart, somebody might hit you in the face. That's happened to me more than once. All right. I hope I made that lesson clear. Ask Jesus, Jesus, would you save me? I want to be born again. I want to receive eternal life in the new heart that you put in my heart. Remember, it's two different men, though. Spirit man, flesh man. Spirit man, as he gets more powerful, he rules flesh man. But flesh man is not going to give up completely, especially with the tongue. All right, I'm going to step over here and say the Lord's Prayer. And I'd like you guys to, let's look at the cows over there, Debbie. Zero in on those guys. Get a little different picture than looking at me. All right. They're waiting for us to give them something to eat. All right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.